Hi, welcome back to Flash Recap. Today I'm gonna show you a 2015 drama romance movie called Lady Chatterley's Lover. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins, and we see some workers working in a mine. Work was going on in the mine, that's when an explosion happens here. There is a worker named Oliver at this place, who runs away and comes to help the people working in the mine. Due to the blast in the mine, many people get injured here, but a worker named Ted is killed here. When Ted's body is delivered to his home, his wife, Volton, weeps over Ted's death. After this we are shown a party scene. Here we see a beautiful girl named Colin. All the people who came to the party were looking at Colin's beauty. At this party there was a man named Clifford. Clifford comes to talk to Colin. Let us tell you that Clifford is a rich man as well as a soldier. In this party there is another man named Duncan. Duncan feels very jealous on seeing Clifford and Colleen talking, because it really liked Colleen herself. Colleen talks to Clifford here. In the first meeting, both of them fall in love with each other, and after a few days they also get married. At the time of marriage, both of them promise each other to be together forever. After marriage, Colleen and Clifford's life was going very well. A few days later Clifford has to go to war. Clifford was with the soldier. That's when a blast happens here. Clifford is injured here because of the blast. Clifford was injured so it is sent home. Colin was also eagerly waiting for Clifford. When Clifford comes home, he is unable to walk on his feet here because due to being injured in the war, the entire part of Clifford's waist was paralyzed. Clifford was deeply saddened by his condition. That's why he goes to the room saying thanks to everyone here. Colin is also deeply saddened to see Clifford in this condition. Clifford was about to commit suicide by coming to his room. That's when Colin comes to him. Colin prevents Clifford from committing suicide, and says, that I will love you always the way you are, and I'll take good care of you too. Clifford calms down after listening to Colin. Next we see Oliver, who had now stopped working as a mine, so Oliver comes to Clifford for work. When Clifford finds out that Oliver previously worked in its mine company, so Clifford hires Oliver. One day Clifford goes with Colleen to visit Oliver, because Oliver lived in the woods. Oliver used to look after the birds here. Colleen is here seeing Oliver for the first time. Clifford talks to Oliver here, but Colin was looking at Oliver as if she had fallen in love with Oliver. The next morning, Colin wakes Clifford to take a bath, but as the support breaks, Clifford comes over Colin, injuring Colin in his groin. Colin was hurt, so today one of its maid Volton brings Clifford to the bath. Walton tells Clifford that Colleen doesn't love you, she only loves your money. Colleen overhears Walton's talk. Colin tells Clifford that you don't listen to Walton because she is lying to you, so that we can be separated from each other. But Clifford doesn't pay much attention to Colleen's words here and says that I want to be fine like before. The next day Colleen comes to give Oliver the keys to his room. Colleen tries to talk to Oliver here, but Oliver angrily talks to Colleen, because of which Colleen leaves from here. The next day Colleen receives a letter, which Oliver sent. Oliver spoke angrily to Colin yesterday, so Oliver apologizes to Colin through the letter. In the evening, Colleen comes to visit Oliver. Colleen hides behind the bushes here and starts watching Oliver. When Colin comes to Oliver, Oliver then becomes very nervous when he sees Colin approaching him. Colin wants to talk to Oliver, but Oliver begins to ignore Colleen's words, because of which Colleen gets angry at Oliver and starts leaving from here. That's when it starts raining here. Colin has to come to Oliver's house because of the rain. Oliver kindles a fire here. Colin tries to talk to Oliver, but Oliver gets up and walks away. Colin invites Oliver to her, but Oliver doesn't come to Colin. Now the rain had stopped, so Colin goes to her house. At night, Colin considers physical with Clifford, but Clifford stops Colleen, and says that it can't get physical with it, because now it will never be able to please Colin. The next day Colin brings Clifford to the doctor. The doctors here try to fix it by giving Clifford an electric shock. This causes Clifford a lot of pain and he screams. Colin, when he hears Clifford scream, then she runs to the room, and refuses to give electric shock to the doctor. Clifford cries greatly at his own condition. One day Colin comes to Oliver again. Oliver gives Colin a chick. Seeing this child, Colin starts crying, because Colin also wanted a child of his own, but half of her husband's body was paralyzed, because of which she can never become a mother again. Colin was crying over here. That's why Oliver comes to him, and calms it down. Colleen comes to Oliver and calms down, because she already liked Oliver. Oliver and Colin enter the house. Coming home, Oliver gets physical with Colin. Now in the evening, Colin starts going to her house. Then Oliver tells Colin that he has fallen in love with it, because of which he wants to be with her, but Colin leaves without saying anything to it. The clouds were thundering in the night, and a strong wind was blowing too. We see that Colin was missing Oliver, so she can't sleep. Colleen tries hard to contain herself, but she is unable to stop herself. and she runs away to meet Oliver. Walton sees it as Colleen leaves. When Colleen approaches Oliver, then Oliver is overjoyed to see Colin. These two get physical again here. The next day there is a party at Clifford's house. Many people came to the party. Duncan also came to this party, who was dancing with Colin. Seeing Duncan and Colin together, Clifford thought that Colin liked Duncan. So after the party was over, Clifford meets Colin. Clifford talks to Colin about his children, and says that he cannot have a child with Colin, so you can be physical with anyone if you want, but I will remain the father of that child. Colin gets very angry on Clifford after hearing this, and she leaves from here. Colin approaches Oliver, and gets physical with Oliver. Many days pass. One day Colin finds out that she is pregnant. Colin also tells this to Clifford, because of which Clifford is also very happy. Clifford asks Colin about the man, but Colin tells it nothing. One day Clifford was walking with Colin in the woods. Clifford takes his motorbike and goes ahead, and Colin stays behind. We see that comes Oliver to Colin. He kisses her, but then Clifford calls Colin, because his motorbike got stuck in the mud. Here comes Oliver, which pushes the motorbike out of the mud. Oliver's health had worsened after working long time in the mine. After getting the motorbike out of the mud, Oliver leaves, coughing. Now Colin knew that Oliver is ill, so she runs away and comes to Oliver. Oliver tells Colin to leave here, but Colleen loves Oliver. That's why she didn't want to leave it in trouble. One day Clifford maid Walton comes to Oliver's house. Here Walton finds Colin's diary, because of which Walton finds out Colin comes to here meet Oliver only, and the child in her stomach, that child is Oliver's. Clifford was party in the joy of her child. That's when Walton comes here and tells Clifford, that's the child in Colin's stomach. That child is of their servant Oliver, because Colleen has an illicit relationship with Oliver. Walton tells Clifford all the truth about Colin, because Walton wants to complete her revenge by telling Clifford all this. Actually Walton's husband is Ted, which we saw at the beginning of the movie working in Clifford's mining, but Ted was killed while working in the mine. Walton was always angry with Clifford for this, because Walton seemed that her husband was killed because of Clifford. Knowing the half-truth, Clifford gets angry at Colin, because of which Colin comes to Walton. Colin starts a fight with Walton. Colin says crying here, that she loves Oliver, and she doesn't want to lose him. Hearing this, Walton's eyes also become moist. Walton realizes his mistake here, so Walton apologizes to Colin. Walton tells Colin that you quickly go to Oliver because Clifford has gone to kill him. Hearing this, Colin runs to Oliver's house. Colin calls Oliver here, but Oliver is not here. Colin sits here and starts crying, but then here comes Oliver. Seeing Oliver alive here, Colin hugs him. Colin comes home with Oliver. Coming home, Colin asks Clifford for a divorce, but Clifford refuses to give the divorce. This causes Oliver and Clifford to quarrel with each other, but Colin doesn't say anything to Clifford. Colin leaves Clifford and moves far away from here with Oliver. And this movie ends here. Thanks for watching guys.